So then what is so distinctive about anthropological fieldwork? Okay, so ultimately, anthropologists build these personal relationships. You don't just spend time with these people and study them, you also become their friends. There are a lot of really interesting ethnographies. One that a man did in East Harlem, and by the end of it, he was studying crack dealers, and by the end of the ethnography, he invited like the kingpin to his son's baptism. So you really create these personal, long-lasting, strong relationships. And that's because we're working so closely with different people and over such long periods of time. Okay, so it's very difficult to prepare for this in advance, to understand the full experience that you're getting yourself into without actually doing it. Okay, and then it's really, really difficult then to be aware of any challenges you might face or to be prepared for those. There are going to be a ton of challenges when you're doing field work or when you're engaging with other people, just like there are challenges when you're doing lab experiments. They're just different challenges and maybe of a different magnitude. Okay? And so the tools that we have as anthropologists are built to be flexible and to allow us to accommodate these challenges and work around these challenges. Okay? So methods in cultural anthropology are rigorous, so they're strict in one way, but they're also fluid and flexible in another that allows us to adapt to these challenges. Okay, because there will be a lot of challenges, especially when you're working with people and the culture is very different and things like that, for sure. Okay, so within the broader field of social science, cultural anthropology is the most qualitative. And social sciences are qualitative anyway, but anthropology is the most qualitative. And so I'm not sure if we've gone over this exactly before, but the difference between qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative is going to be measuring quality, so this is not numerical data. This is going to be things like stories, written records, experiences, and then quantitative data is quantity or numerical data. Okay. Like we've already talked about, anthropology is very holistic, so we're studying all aspects of the culture simultaneously. And this doesn't mean you need to understand every single facet of every single part of the culture, but what it does mean is that if you're studying economic processes, you also are studying race or ethnicity. You're also studying gender roles. You're also studying acculturation and how we raise our children. So you're studying all of these aspects, not just one piece. Okay. Also, long-term fieldwork. This is the hallmark of anthropology. Usually a year or more within a community. Okay, and this, as we'll talk about, is starting to change a little bit. You'll see anthropologists doing shorter stints of fieldwork, but traditionally it's long-term fieldwork. And then, of course, always, always, always applying principles of cultural relativism. You can remember that cultural relativism is just withholding judgment until you've explored a culture from its own perspective, from the emic insider perspective. Okay? So this is how anthropology is a little bit different. Very qualitative, long-term field study in that holistic approach again, and then always, always employing cultural relativism.